Well, hello, everyone. We are continuing our series on Where is Sebastian Rogers? I'm determined not to let this become a cold case. It doesn't seem like there's much out there in the way of Sebastian Rogers, and honestly, there isn't a lot of views. So if you would rather me talk about something else, we can do that. I just don't want to see this be lost in in the many missing person cases in Tennessee, which is outrageous in itself. But anyway, grab your favorite beverage, come on in and sit down at my table. We're going to go through an interview today that happened on, let me take a look here, March 18th, with Chronicles of Olivia, and she interviewed Chris and Katie. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and we will take a look at this video. Here we go.
In today's video, I interview the mother and stepfather of Sebastian Rogers, a 15-year-old who vanished from Hendersonville, Tennessee on February 26th of 2024. He vanished and hasn't been seen since.
Although he doesn't like to be dirty, it's kind of funny because he also doesn't have awareness, because if you look, he's got chocolate milk on his face because he didn't wipe it off at breakfast. It's funny like that.
Can you recap the overall story of Sebastian's disappearance? Kind of walk through that day.
Sunday, the day before he went missing, we got up and, fun fact, I made breakfast that morning. We had a good time. We were laughing, we were joking. He talked to family on the phone during breakfast. We went and picked up our niece. Yeah, I got a call, and
Okay, I wanted to point that out. Did you see how she looked at him? We went and picked up our niece, kind of like question mark. And before we were all wondering, why is she looking at him? And then he's nodding and agreeing with her because supposedly he wasn't there, right? Well, now we're hearing different things. We're hearing that Chris was actually home and that he was even at Texas Roadhouse with her and Sebastian. Now, as far as I know, there are no receipts out there for this. So it is rumor. It's all alleged. I'm not going to say that it's fact. But her question to him about picking up the niece and then him answering like yes it fits in with that scenario, does it not? Or am I looking at that wrong? Feel free to tell me in the comments what your thoughts are. I don't mind if you disagree. All I ask is that people do not show hate in this channel. All right, let's continue on.
asked if I could go and pick her up, and I did. And so we went and did that. We went to BJ's. Had a good time there. He ate a colossal popcorn. Came home to put groceries away because we bought snacks because, you know, he's 15 and snacks. We went to the bowling alley. And then from there we went to dinner. Came home. He took out the trash.
And there again, she was talking about they went to the bowling alley. And then they went out to eat, and he nods his head like he was there. I'm just really curious, guys.
Because that's his chore. He takes the can to the end of the driveway. About 9 o'clock, told him to go to bed. And he's come out of his room where he was playing, and he said, "All right, good night, Mama. Good night, puppies. I love you." And went to bed. He was doing something in his room because about an hour later I heard some noise, and I was like, "I don't care what you're doing in there, but go to sleep." And
Okay, in our timeline of going through all these videos, this is the first video where she says she heard him do something, and she said, "I don't care what you're doing in there, but go to sleep." It's the first time that she brings that up. It's now March 18th, and Sebastian disappeared on February 25th, 26th.
about midnight I got up and I went to bed. And 6 o'clock I went to wake him up for school Monday morning. And that's when he wasn't here.
What was going through your mind at that point? Like, what were the feelings that you were feeling?
To censor myself. Holy freaking crap, this can't be happening. Where is my kid? Choice words were used. Like, where the F is he, I had looked through the house for him because it was typical for him to get up and come and rummage for snacks and things like that. And he likes to.
Okay, and do you guys remember that first interview where she seemed really distraught? I mean, she was crying. And the interview that we did where we were listening to the behavior panel, and even they said this was a grieving mom. Well, today I don't see a grieving mom. Do you? Let me know your thoughts.
Dip behind the walls and watch, and then he comes out after I come back and he likes to scare me. But after I looked, and I mean, mind you, all of this took place in like 1 minute flat, but I didn't see him in his room. I looked all over. I ran through the whole house. I looked out all the doors and windows, and I was like hollering his name. And I picked up the phone and I called my husband and I said, "I can't find him." And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "He's not in this effing house. I can't find our son." And I jumped in my car and I drove around the neighborhood and I drove over by the school, and he's already at this point I was like hysterical and I was crying, I was screaming, and
Okay, so Chris, why did you all of a sudden cough there? Is there a reason for that? What were you trying to get Katie to stop talking about? Allegedly, in my opinion, that's what it looked like right there.
he was like three-wayed. He three-wayed law enforcement and was telling them like our son is missing and we don't know what's going on. And he was like, "Go back to the house. They're on their way." And I drove back to the house, and 20 days later, we haven't found him.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how stressful that is. And also, like when we were driving up here, like this neighborhood is so pretty and nice. And do you think, has he ever like walked away before, or like has that ever happened? It's just
No.
no, first time.
He's not a child that wanders. He's not one that is
He doesn't have a history of being an eloper, which is common. And I have friends with children on the spectrum who do struggle with elopement with their children. But no, Sebastian, that's one thing, has always been a blessing. He's not been an eloper or a runner. His primary areas are like social and emotional dysregulation issues and things like that. But he's very smart. He's functional. Overall, he's a pretty happy kid. I mean, he's a teenager. He's coming into his hormones. He's angry that he's growing a mustache, but for the most part, he's a happy kid. And
What are your theories? Like, I'm sure your mind has thought of every possible thing that could have happened, but is there any theory that you can talk about that you think?
What I can tell you is, with all law enforcement, with everybody that's involved, there's nothing that's been eliminated. Everything is on the table. Everything is being looked at from every possible aspect.
everything from he got out and walked away and was outside of the search radius before we started searching to the worst.
Yeah.
And
that's currently where we're at. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really trying not to go down that road because we're gonna find him.
speculating causes problems. Assumptions cause issues. And based on facts of what everybody knows, right now, there's nothing, and everything is still on the table to being looked at.
We just know he's out there somewhere.
One other question I have is recently Channel 5 in Nashville, they had security footage that showed two flashlights the night he disappeared. Is there anything that you think about this video or?
Sure. So, there's a lot of speculations about that video that are floating on the internet. Okay, and that is exactly what it is. It's speculations. Now, what I can give you an official statement on is TBI Newslink has released a statement from law enforcement, between local law enforcement, state law enforcement, some federal law enforcement, and they have analyzed that video so many times over that everything that everybody is trying to assume is a flashlight, I hate to say this, it's not. As much as we would love it to be one, it's not. I'm not going to go into details as far as where that video is shot from, but I can tell you, as the parents, we have seen the video firsthand from law enforcement. We know exactly where it was taken from, and nothing that is being assumed right now is actually true about that video, unfortunately.
Okay.
Okay. So, this many months later, we have seen that flashlight video broken down and actually kind of overlaid the gazebo area in their neighborhood. I personally believe there is more to that flashlight video, just as a lot of other people do. And time's going to tell, right? You know, law enforcement knows more than they're saying, and they're not even going to tell Chris and Katie what they're thinking. Okay. My question is, though, why did they, did law enforcement call them in to discuss the flashlight video? Because whenever law enforcement gets evidence, they're going to ask questions, right? But they're not going to show their hand. So, I saw today is the 26th of October. I'm sorry, the 28th of October, when I'm recording this. And I saw a video by Don B, and he said, we need to be patient. We need to wait. And he's right, because law enforcement knows more than what they're saying. All right, let's continue on.
And anything about any other videos or anything like that, please refer to the TBI news link that they have out there, the updated Amber Alert stuff. And it will give you the most up-to-date information that all law enforcement has. And they will give you current as far as what's what and how they're looking at things.
And if there's any new video, forward it to them.
Please.
Yeah. Security footage is really like a game changer. We're working on Riley's strain and trying to find like if someone missed one on a corner or something. So that's
around this neighborhood, and this whole community. I mean, I can tell you that much here. When it comes to the cameras, there has not been one person that has said no. And trust me, it is greatly felt that everybody has been so open, so helpful in pushing out any which way they can. I mean, there's been some families that have actually been on vacation that weren't home, and they got permission from that family to take a look at their cameras and go in their houses without them even being present, which has been amazing. So, but yeah.
that's good.
So Chris is talking about how amazing the neighbors have been, and yet there have been reports from neighbors how cruel he has been. Those are facts. Those are facts. You've got him on one hand saying they've been wonderful. They have, allowed law enforcement to come in and search and do this and do that, and how wonderful they are. But yet neighbors have reported that he has been downright cruel and mean to them.
If there was something that you could say to Sebastian if he was listening, what would you say?
Oh God. That if you can see this or hear this, that we just want you home, baby, and we love you. And there ain't nothing that'll stop us from coming and getting you and bringing you home.
I can't speak for his father, but I'm pretty sure we all have the same opinion, that we love you, miss you, we want you home, and if you can, call us, get wherever you can, let us know, and we will come get you.
Call 911, run out into the street, go in public, anything. The signs that we've been blessed to have family, friends, and even some in the community that have been helping us, but we've been out spreading those as far as we can, even over state lines, trying to get awareness because, not everybody knows that he's missing, and there's a chance that if someone could see him and not even realize who he is. So we want to get his face out there because we want him home.
Surprisingly, even locally, there are some folks that don't even know what's going on, and it's kind of like a shocker. Like, how do you not know? It is amazing because
I do agree with Chris about that. It is a shocker, like, how do you not know, right? But even 8 months later, there are still people that do not know that Sebastian is missing. That's why we have to keep his name and his face out there, people, because not everyone is on social media, There are people probably my age who, don't know social media. I know before my dad passed away, I tried to teach him a little bit so he could play games. And yeah, he was so afraid of it. He didn't want anything to do with it. So there are people who do not know that Sebastian is missing. and we need to keep his name and his face out there.
In the past couple weeks, you've got 2 cases. A 15-year-old boy that has vanished without a trace. You've got a 22-year-old, 6'4" or 7" college kid from Missouri who has vanished without a trace. That's a huge significance here. That it's like, wow, how? So
It's scary.
yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the college kid is from Missouri, I think.
Yeah, Missouri.
I can only imagine what his family's going through.
It's like your worst nightmare come alive.
Do you guys receive hate
That-
on the internet?
Yes, and it's ongoing. It's every single day. People are people, and they have their opinions. Everybody is formulating their idea of what's going on and who's guilty and who's not guilty because they want to know, or they feel they need to know. There's a difference. Unfortunately, what I will tell you is that when you're the family in this position and you're working with law enforcement and everything's going the way it goes, people automatically assume this parent or that parent. And in this situation, I can promise you, every single parent has been vetted. I can't go into details, but I can tell you we have been vetted and we have been cleared of all.
Okay, so that is a lie. He said that everyone has been cleared, all 3 parents. None of the parents have been cleared. Have they been vetted? Yeah, whatever that means. I mean, law enforcement has checked into them and they're not done. They're still looking at things. They're, what things we don't know, but they have not been cleared. And we're 8 months in. The parents have not been cleared. Not one of them. Okay? So that right there is a lie, pure fact, because TBI has come out and stated that no one has been cleared.
Possibility of wrongdoing, foul play, there's nothing to that. We've heard all kinds of stories.
I pretty much don't even go online anymore at this point.
I, on the other hand, I do go on and I do talk to these folks, and I want them to understand they have this formulated opinion on who we are, not who we truly are. They've never met us. We've never crossed paths with some of these folks. But I have told them online, if you want to know, just ask me. I'll answer your questions to the best of what I can. There are some things that I cannot give you because law enforcement has dictated that we are not to provide certain information. But I will try. I am direct, I am brash, but I am very respectful. So, if you have questions, ask. I'll give you what I can. Just be respectful, please. And keep in mind, there's 3 parents.
My question is, how can you be brash and respectful in the same moment? I don't think that's possible. And I would say brash is a light term for the way that Chris has talked to some people online, and it has only hurt him. It has only hurt him when he's lost his temper and he's gone off on people, including Seth. So, the best thing is to just let it go, to be quiet if you can't control your anger, Does that make Chris guilty? No, it does not. Him getting angry does not make him guilty. All right? I'm going to say that right out loud to everyone because there is no evidence of his anger that we have seen affecting Sebastian. Now, having said that, we all know that Seth has some DCS records and that he cannot talk about, and I don't think he'll be able to bring them out into the public legally, but he's not happy about them. And so something happened in this home because there is no evidence that Sebastian walked out of that home. None whatsoever. So one of these two knows something. And allegedly, if Chris was home, then he knows as well as Katie. Maybe she wasn't the last person to see Sebastian. We don't know. All we can do is wait for law enforcement. Chris said something earlier that kind of touched on people feel they need to know, they have a right to know, something like that, and or want to know and need to know. You know, we don't need to know. We are the public. We don't need to know. The only people that need to know is law enforcement. Those that are working the case. They need to know. We have to sit back and wait for the law to work. That's what we have to do. If we know something, we should say something. That would be something that we could do. The other thing that we can do is if you're in the area, put out flyers, go searching. Woods, creeks, whatever. Keep Sebastian's face and name out on social media so this case does not go cold. That is my fear. My biggest fear for this case and for Sebastian is that it becomes a cold case, which we're into 8 months, guys. But it's not impossible for a case to be solved after a long period of time, or for a missing child to be brought home after a long period of time. We've seen it happen. All right, let's continue on.
Parents, and there's thousands and millions of people out there that may have a question. We are trying to get to them, I promise you.
How has your guys' life been affected by this? Like, I know it's a broad question, but what's, like, when you wake up in the morning, what's it just like?
Miserable, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Think of it like this. You wake up every morning and your routine is what it is and you know it, right? Now wake up when this happens and you can't figure out what to do. You struggle every single day on trying to get out of the bed, to deal and face everybody's negativity, and you try to make it a positive thing.
Or the fact that my son's still not home.
We have a bedroom that's empty that is never normally ever empty, except for when he's with his dad every other weekend. So now we have a child that's missing. So there's no words to describe it, but I can just tell you, it's like you get up and now you don't know what to do.
Sebastian's parents also talked about how his actions and behaviors could be different, or how he would respond in a new environment.
Well, that's kind of tricky because Sebastian hasn't been on his medication in 20 days. So he is rambunctious. He's gonna be hungry. He turns into a bottomless pit. I mean, he's your teenage boy, always hungry. Um, on the spectrum, yes, but not one autistic child in this world is like another one. What we can tell you is he's smart. He can be goofy. Um, he kind of has issues with personal space. He hasn't mastered
He can be
up in your face kind of kid.
he can be aggressive if he's upset.
Yeah. He's emotional. He's a teenager.
He doesn't like punch and hit and throw, but he
No.
gets really like aggressive stanced or like clipped where he just won't talk to you, or if he's really upset, he like growls.
Yeah, he. Man.
Share, look, pay
Be
attention.
vigilant. And we don't expect everybody to stop what they do and spend every waking minute. But you would be surprised on how easily people are complacent and not realize certain things. We're all guilty because we're all human. We all live a daily life. But sometimes just being a little bit extra vigilant,
Aware of your surroundings in case there's something suspicious.
you never know. But don't ever stop is all we ask. Please keep looking, keep searching. Anything, reach out. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely, keep his story in the spotlight, and all it takes is for one person to see something or know something, and
All we need is
that's
just
just
one clue.
that one clue.
The old saying, see something, say something.
And a few others, but we're working with everyone we can. And taking, like, some people have been kind and reached out with resources that I didn't know were out there, and I've reached out to all of them. Truckers Against Trafficking, we reached out to them just in case.
Biker world, that's one thing everybody has in common is their love for a child. And they can't stand to see children missing, hurt. And it doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter what group it is. That's one commonality between every group. And that's why, as a part of being in that world, we go and we utilize our brothers and sisters to help spread that word. You'd be surprised on how easy it is to spot somebody. The biker. So
How can people help?
this community, I'm gonna tell you right now, far and wide, multiple communities, counties, various people, some people in other states, reach out either through social media, in person, but everybody is searching, they've looked, they're constantly looking, they're constantly giving us ideas. Hey, check this, what about this? All of that is great.
Report anything that could potentially, even if it's little.
It doesn't matter what it is. However, what we can ask is that instead of people assuming and trying to put negative out there, just try to stay with the facts and report all the things that are positive. Any ideas that may help, trust me, all law enforcement are available and they are looking at everything.
Sebastian Rogers is still missing. If you know something, say something. Chronicles of Olivia.
I have to remember to unmute my mic. I'm sorry. I don't know if we've learned anything new from this interview. I think I've taken a few things away from it. The first time that Katie talked about her hearing Sebastian doing something in his room, I think later on it's referred to as a thump. And I think that the thump in the night is going to be more important than we know when all this is said and done, when Sebastian is home. But that's my opinion. Everything in this video is my opinion. It's all alleged. Nothing is taken as fact. And I encourage everyone to seek the facts for themselves because we don't know what's going on. And I think the most important thing for all of us to do right now is to just keep the awareness out there. Light it up green. Light it up green, no matter where you live, because we don't know where Sebastian is. We do not know. And keep his face out on social media. Say his name. That little boy deserves to come home. And yes, he's a little boy in my opinion. I'm 66 years old, so I can say that. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate everyone. And we will see you on the next one. Thank you for watching another episode of Granny's Crime Busters. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget to subscribe and like and even share the content. You can follow us on any of our other social media platforms at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We really appreciate you guys, and you can also email us at granniescrimebusters@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.